Today I'm going to show you how you can make a dream catcher. So dream catchers are from the Native American or indigenous people's tradition, where the belief is if you place a dream catcher above someone's bed, because it's so beautiful and it has this webbing, that the dreams will be attracted to the dream catcher and that the bad dreams will get trapped inside, and so it will not disturb the person who's sleeping or dreaming. The great thing about these dream catchers is that they're made from paper plates. So what I did is I just cut off a smaller circle from the paper plate, or cut the larger edge around it off, and then I made a circle inside. But before we get started with shaping or cutting out anything, I'm going to show you how to make paper beads. The reason why I'm going to show you is that in order to make your dream catcher really pretty, so that the bad dreams get attracted to it and stay inside, you need to put on beads or other different sparkly, shiny, glittery things, and I don't have any beads. So I'm going to make them out of paper. Now here's a strip of paper. All you need to do is cut in a triangle. It could be a super long triangle. It could be a super short triangle. It doesn't really matter. This one's fairly long. It'll make a fat bead in terms of thickness. It can be used paper. It can be magazine paper. It can be white paper. It can be colored paper, green paper. This is magazine paper. This is purple paper. Any color you think you might like. I recycled a piece that I'd used for an earlier art project. And so what you do is when you have your triangle strip, you take the wider side, the side with the wide end, and you grab it a stick, or you can use a straw. And you wrap it around really tightly, not making the straw any smaller or skinnier, but just so that it goes around the straw. And you go around and around and around, and you want to make sure that the paper is holding tightly to the straw. And when you get almost to the end, you want to take your glue stick or your liquid glue, and you're going to glue the last bit where the point is. And then you're going to continue twisting and turning and gluing that strip down. When you're done, you let that dry. If it's not quite glue, you take another piece of glue or another bit of glue and you stick it to that, and you just let it dry. Usually what I do is I make two beads. I put one on this end and I put one on this end. And by the time I'm done with the one on this end, the one on this end has already dried. So I'm just going to take it off the straw. And that's how you make your paper beads. When you're ready, when you have enough beads and you're ready to decorate your dream catcher, what you want to do is figure out which design you would like. For me, this was a little big, so I cut it to be smaller. You can see that this came from the very same plate. But I think this one I'm going to try with it in its large size, just so I can compare. So once I have my plate cut out, and all I did in order to do that is I took a roll of tape, masking tape, and my pencil. I put the tape in the middle and I traced around it. And then this is the part where you need to be careful and may need somebody older to help you. I puncture the plate. And then how I do it is I get my scissors in there and I just make cuts to the end of my circle. And this will help me have some room to be able to maneuver my scissors. So then I grab it from one tab and I just begin to cut. And you just go around and around until your circle is cut out. Okay. So now I'm going to put aside the ones that I decorated already. So now you can decide which side you want facing forward for your design, and you can begin to decorate. So with my plate facing me forward like this, it already has a design. So I'm going to start with the design and embellish that. And you can use any design that you like. You can use markers, you can paint. My only thing about the painting is that paper plates don't really hold up to the paint as well. So I would rethink that. It changes the shape and makes the plate a little wonky. I'm using my blue. Okay. Now I'm going to color in a circle around my circle, just like a rim. Okay. And now I think I want to do some wavy lines. Okay. So this is my essential design for my sun catcher. Then you need to use a 3-hole punch. You could get away with not using a 3-hole punch, but it's going to be very, very difficult because you have to make so many holes. So I'm going to use my 3-hole punch, and I'm basically going to use the black part that I used as a border, and I'm going to go above that, so meaning all my holes will be above that marker. So I'm going to do 2 over here, 2 over here, and you really can put as many holes as you like, as few holes as you like. It is totally up to you. I'm going to put 2 holes down here and 2 holes down here. Now I'm going to take yarn. You could take embroidery floss, you could take yarn, you even use lanyard if you had it. And I'm going to pull off, or I should say take off enough yarn to weave through, and then I cut it off, and I make a knot at one end, I find the original end, and coming from behind, I take the end without the knot, I pull it all the way through just until I get to the knot. Then I want to take my tape and tape the knot to this side of the paper. Okay, so that it doesn't come to. Then I find my initial end of my string, and wherever I want to go, I can weave it wherever it is that I would like to weave it, meaning put it through any hole on any other side of the circle. Okay, this is where my beads come in. Remember, I showed you how to make that one bead. I made a couple of others earlier. So in order to put your bead on, you find the end of your string, your yarn or your lanyard, whatever it is, and you work it through until you begin to see a little bit on the other side of it, until you can pull that little bit through. So you just push and push, and then there you go. I don't know why this one is being weird. Alright, this one is being a little weird. I'm going to cut off. Sometimes when you work with yarn, it gets very frayed at the end, and so it doesn't want to do what you want it to do. So sometimes you just have to cut it off and start again. But it usually goes through super easy. Alright, maybe something's wrong with that bead. I'm going to try another bead. Take the end of my yarn, twist it and make it small, and then shove it through. And see, it comes out the other side. Must have been something wrong with that bead. It comes out the other side. I pull it through. And now I take my thread and I go through another hole. Let's see, I think I want to go through this one now. And you just want to make sure that the bead stays where you can see it. And now I'm going through another hole. I think I'm going to use another bead. Again, take the end of your thread, fold it over, squinch it really tight so it goes through. Keep pushing, keep pushing. You should see it come through the other side. This one's a little long. It's almost there, I can see it. There you go. And now I'm going to go through another hole. Okay, so you can see how it's beginning to shape up in terms of the lacing. And you pull the lace tight, not super tight, but you pull it tight so that it doesn't, it's not saggy in the center. And one more right here. Here. And then, is that it? I think I've pulled it through all of the string, or all of the holes. So now, when you're done, just like you put a piece of tape on the first piece of string, you're going to put a piece of tape on the last bit of string. You make a knot. And take the string down to the back of the plate. So, when I'm done, then I just need to make 4 more holes. 3 on the bottom, so you decide which is the top, which is the bottom of your sun catcher or dream catcher. For me, this is going to be the bottom. On the bottom, you're going to make 3 holes. Then you turn the plate around, and on what now is the top, because that is the bottom, the hole that is in the middle, you go opposite that was on the bottom, you go opposite that. You line it up. And you make a hole, and that's going to be your top. For the top, you need a piece of string, maybe 6 inches long. You double it, so fold it in half. And now you're going to make a loop. So coming through the back side, you take the loop part, or where you divided it in half, you bring it through the front, and then you bring the other strings through that. Now you have your top loop. You can tie this off however you would like. And this is what's going to allow your dream catcher to hang above your bed. Okay, so that's the top. These are the bottoms. So what you need for that is, again, you need 3 pieces of yarn. I'm going to say 8 inches, 10 inches, and 8 inches. The first one that you cut, you can just line it up against the yarn and cut that again. That will be your 2 8-inches, and then you want one that's longer than that one, and that will be your 10 inches. And so what do? Well, you take the 2 8-inch strings will be on the outside and the 10-inch string will be in the middle. So you basically want to do the same thing that you just did with the top, with the bottom. You're going to fold your yarn in half. You're going to pull the loop through the front, and then you're just going to pull the ends through the front as well. Again, this is the 3rd hole. I'm going to pull, divide it in half, find the loop, put the loop inside, pull it through. We have one last one, our 10-inch. And I'm going to divide it in half, take that loop, go through the center, okay. So now I can take more beads that I've made and put them on the ends. I can braid, like I can do a twisty braid kind of situation. I have feathers, I have glitter. I can use anything I like to embellish this. So on these, I used feathers and my paper beads, and just put the paper beads and the feathers onto the bottom, like you did before, or like I showed you earlier. I'm going to do one at a time because I think it's a little too fat when it's pull through one and then take the other one. Push it through. Okay. So that one has a paper bead on it. Let's see, do I have any more paper beads? One more that I can use. Okay. Here we go. Second string, that in there. There you go. And then I think for the middle string, I will just use a feather. Let's see, what color? I think green. And so the third one, I'm just going to take, I'm going to start a loop like I'm tying a shoe lace. And I'm going to lay the feather on top of the first loop. Then I'm going to tie my next loop like it's a knot. and then wrap. I'm going to wrap the excess string around both the feather and the string. Okay. And in this instance, I'm going to use a piece of tape just to show you, but you can glue it. I think it's easier to show you if I just show you with the piece of tape. And if I had an extra paper bead, I could just put it over so you wouldn't even see that, just like these paper beads. And then here I just put a little double knot in the bottom so the bead can't fall off. And I do the same on the third string. I make a knot in the bottom. So the bead can't fall off. And there you have a dream catcher. You can be as creative as your imagination allows you to be. And hopefully you'll have some nice dreams.